Hi girls, it's me, the Pecan Tan Beauty, and I am here today to do a quick lesson on the different types of Dooney and Bourke leather. So some of the leathers that I am going to be going over and sharing with you today is Florentine Leather, Pebbled, Saffiano, City, Dillen, Calf, Croco, Serena, and Montecito leathers. So I am not an expert, but I will be sharing with you just some of my findings and some of my experiences since owning these leathers, because sometimes it helps when you're trying to make a decision on a certain type of bag based on your lifestyle. So I thought this would be a great overview of the different types of leather and the versatility and just anything that I think that you would like to know before purchasing a bag, or just it may be able to help you out now if you already own these bags. So sit back, get a pen and paper, popcorn, and a cold drink of your choice, and enjoy the lesson. So the first leather that we're going to be discussing today is the Florentine leather, which is one of the more popular leathers. It is a vegetable drum-dyed leather, which ensures even saturation and longevity. It's durable and substantial and very, very well crafted. So as you can see, this bag is fairly smooth all over. The Florentine leather does come in various textures, because keep in mind that these are bags in leather made of real cowhide. So the texture of the leather is going to vary from bag to bag. So you may have a bag that's completely smooth all the way around. You may have a bag that's completely pebbled all the way around, or you may even have one that have mixed textures. And that doesn't mean that your bag is defective. It just means that the piece of leather from that animal was a little bit more varied in texture. The next leather that we're going to talk about today is the Saffiano leather. Saffiano leather is a thinner, more durable leather. It's perfect for every day. It's perfect for traveling and for anybody that may be a little bit harder on their bags. Because as you can see, this texture is a crosshatch texture. It is not quite a reptile look. It is very durable and scratch resistant, as you can see here. It has a little bit of structure, and it can still be moved around and bumped around with no problems at all. So the next leather that I'm going to talk about is the pebbled leather. Pebbled leather is another very durable leather. It's waterproof, water resistant, and it is just a great type of leather that has been shrunk to make it that water resistant type of material. So as you can see, the pebbled leather is pretty consistent in texture throughout. You most likely will not see any smooth parts. For the most part, it is consistently pebbled throughout. This leather is also very carefree and perfect for traveling and for your everyday carry. So the next leather we're going to talk about is Dillen Leather. Dillen Leather is much like Pebbled Leather. The leather is shrunk to help it be more water and stain resistant. The Dillen Leather is a little bit thicker than the Pebbled Leather, It also is pebbled throughout, and there are normally no smooth spots, as you can see here. In my opinion, though it looks like pebbled leather and feels like pebbled leather, it's a little bit heavier than the normal pebbled leather. This leather is also scratch resistant, so you don't have to worry about being super careful with it. It has a little bit of structure, but not much. As this leather gets older, it starts to kind of puddle a little bit. So it's a great bag, again, for every day, for travel, and for something if you want more of a throw around carefree bag. So I just wanted to do a quick comparison of the pebbled leather and the Dillen leather. And as you can see, the leather to the eye is very similar. Very similar. Both are pebbled throughout, and the consistency of the pebble is pretty much the same. So again, the differences in these two leathers is the Dillen leather is just a little bit heavier and thicker than the pebbled leather, but to the eye and as far as durability, they are both pretty much the same. So let's talk about calf leather. Calf leather is a very smooth and soft leather. It is very durable, just like the pebbled leather and the Dillen leather. It is scratch resistant and a little bit lighter in weight than some of the other leathers like the Florentine, the pebbled, and the Dillen leathers. Again, I'm showing you that it's very soft and very flexible, and you don't have to worry about folds or creases or anything because it's very soft. So if you're looking for a more structured bag, the calf leather may not be for you. So let's talk about the beautiful City Leather. City Leather is one of the newer collections in Dooney and Bourke. It is very soft, but not as soft as the calf leather. It's very smooth and supple. And as you can see close up, it is consistently smooth throughout. You rarely see city leather that is pebbled. So for the most part, it is fairly smooth. This leather is also soft, yet still has some structure to it. As you can see, you can move it around, you can bend it, and it still holds its shape. So the next leather that we're going to talk about is the Croco embossed leather. The Croco embossed leather is a little bit different feel and texture from all of the other leathers that we spoke about. This leather is a lot more structured and also very carefree. And as you can see, the texture of it is similar in mimicking the croco, the crocodile. So again, it has some burnishing on it. It is very structured for the most part, but you can still move it around. It's still very flexible, and as you can see, you can pop it right back into shape. It's scratch resistant, which again makes it very durable and very easy to care for. So let's talk about the Claremont leather in the Claremont collection. The Claremont leather is another very carefree leather. It is light in weight, much lighter than some of the earlier leathers that we discussed. And the texture of this leather is similar to the Saffiano leather that we spoke about earlier, but as you can see, the texture of this leather mimics pebbled leather just a little bit. It's just a different type texture. It's also scratch resistant, again, which makes it carefree. As you can see here, there are no visible scratches. The leather is soft, but it's also very structured. So it does have some structure, but it still has some movability. So what we're doing here is we are just doing a quick comparison of the Claremont leather to the Saffiano leather. And as you can see, there are differences in the patterns. As I mentioned earlier, the Claremont leather on the left is a little bit mimicky of the pebbled leather, and the Saffiano leather that's on the right is a crosshatch. As you can see, it looks like some of the leather parts are going to east and west, and then the other is going north and south, so it gives it a very, very unique look. And both of these leathers, again, are very carefree, scratch resistant. You don't have to run from the rain in these leathers. But with the butterscotch trim on the Claremont leather, I still protect it because that leather is still very vulnerable to rain. So I still want to protect that leather. So here is another leather that is very similar to the Saffiano and the Claremont leather. This collection is called the Serena collection, and as you can see, again, the texture on here is somewhat embossed, and this embossing is almost kind of reptile-y. It mimics kind of like fish scales or lizard or something like that. So very, very easy to care for. It's also one of those scratch resistant leathers that you don't have to worry about scratches or anything like that. And as you can see, this one is also structured, but it still has some movability to it. So it still can be an everyday bag that you can bang around and don't have to worry about ruining your bag. Okay, so the last leather that we're going to talk about today is the Montecito leather from the Montecito collection. This leather is very, very structured, and as you can see, it's also very smooth. And with this leather, you will not see any pebbling at all. So all the Montecito leathers are pretty much smooth all the way through. And this leather is very stiff, as you can see, and it does not soften with use. It's very, very structured. This leather is also one that you may have to baby a little bit because of its texture, but it still can be worn as an everyday bag. Okay guys, so though Dooney Bourke has many, many different leathers, I just chose a few of the leathers that I had in my collection that are pretty popular in the Dooney world. So I just want to give you a quick overview of those different types of leathers, and again, to hopefully maybe help you make a decision if you are trying to find the perfect bag to fit your lifestyle. So I hope you are able to take something from this lesson and help you in making your next handbag decision.